I, for one, am relieved that this Aaron Rodgers BS is finally over, even though there are still reports circulating around that it's not actually over, even though the Vikings reportedly put everything to bed, that they have shut down every single trade communication initiation from other teams in regards to quarterback JJ McCarthy. They are not interested in Aaron Rodgers. JJ McCarthy is going to be the QB1 for this damn team in 2025. Enough. And I understand for this portion of this video, it's going to go beyond, I guess, the realm of sports, maybe a bit emotional on my end, but I cannot accept the disrespect that JJ McCarthy has taken this offseason so far. That they drafted him as a top 10 pick a year ago. He's clearly the quarterback of the future. And when the season came to an end for 2024, the talk was Sam Darnold, rightfully so. Look what he did for the Vikings in 2024. They should bring him back. Look what he did 1 year under KOC. Imagine how much better he's going to get in year 2 under head coach Kevin O'Connell. But we wanted to push the Sam Darnold agenda. And that much, okay, I can understand. But then he goes to Seattle, and we still dismiss JJ McCarthy in favor of Aaron Rodgers. And reportedly, they were having internal discussions. Rodgers wanted to come to Minnesota, and the Vikings were trying to decide if it was worth the hassle or not. And it came out yesterday, they're moving forward with JJ McCarthy. That should be enough. But the disrespect has been so great. We're talking about a guy who you would think has come off of some sort of ACL/MCL tear. Horrible. He dealt with a meniscus injury, got a repair for that, lost some weight because he had to give up his strength training program to focus on rehab. Naturally, when you do that, you are going to lose weight. But we act like this man just went through some sort of catastrophic injury, and there's no way that he's going to be able to return. He's fine. And Chase Daniel, the flip-flopping that you have done. Diana Rossini, I'm going to let it go. She's simply saying, hey, they're still having discussions. I'm going to sit here and go out on a limb and say, I don't think they're having discussions right now. That they were, but they're not right now. That's over and done with. But Chase Daniel, to basically do everything you could to put JJ McCarthy down in favor of Aaron Rodgers. If that's who you want to be the Vikings quarterback, because now we're in the offseason. The first wave of free agency is over with. So the machine that is sports talk, we need to find crap to push in order to get clickbait and content engagement. Everything that goes for us so that we look good as some damn analysts instead of actually studying the teams that we're talking about. JJ McCarthy was always going to be the guy, and it would take everything for Aaron Rodgers to convince them otherwise. And then after it was announced that they're moving forward with JJ McCarthy yesterday, Chase Daniel, after doing all the down talking on JJ McCarthy, well, he hasn't played it down yet. He played at Michigan. How do we know if he's ready? He's the top 10 pick last year. We need Aaron Rodgers. He's going to be the guy to get them over the top. And then when it's announced that Aaron Rodgers is not going to be the guy, you backtrack, flip-flop, tweeting some damn JJ McCarthy QB1. That is nasty. Stand on business. That's ridiculous. And I get that this is a sports channel and I should just keep it about sports, but this is bullshit. He did not deserve this. Top 10 pick for a reason, who dealt with a minor setback, albeit it set him back for the year, but injury-wise, it's nothing to sit here and raise hell about. But because we want this agenda so bad for some Aaron Rodgers who hasn't done anything worth a damn in 3 years, we need that story to push. It's JJ McCarthy's time. Get over it. Going back to last night, the Vikings made a move on the roster. Rondale Moore, they added to this Minnesota Vikings team. He's dealt with a bit of an injury history. Most recently in 2024, missed all of the season after suffering a leg injury in training camp. He's a short guy, speedster. If healthy, he can be the Brandon Powell replacement, where you have him as maybe the wide receiver 4, give him a few shots in the open field. As long as he gets his hand on the ball, he can take off and run with it. Good for the Vikings on that front. But the Vikings, according to Over the Cap, have around just over $32 million still available to spend. And after the release of Garrett Bradbury and taking that immediate savings now to boost up on what you already had before the release, what could they have in store? And I'm going to go over that over the next couple of videos as far as potential trade ideas. But for this one, I want to go to the Indianapolis Colts. You already managed to swipe away 2 of their interior offensive linemen from last year in Will Fries. Turns out I was saying Will Fries wrong the entire time. I was calling him Will Freeze. But you managed to swipe 2 interior offensive linemen from the Colts in Will Fries, the right guard, as well as Ryan Kelly, the center. Why not go for the trifecta? Quentin Nelson, who's going to be 29 years old for the 2025 season, all-pro left guard. Here's why it makes sense for the Vikings. And there's really no sort of Einstein approach to take to this. He's one of the better players in the league. You add him to what you have already done, upgraded-wise with this offensive line. You have, on paper, one of the best offensive lines in the league in just one off season. Pair that with the protection that you're going to give, the support that you're going to give to JJ McCarthy, throw into these receivers, Jefferson, Addison, a healthy TJ Hawkinson, these running backs, Aaron Jones and Jordan Mason, running behind an offensive line like that. And the defense, the trenches has been upgraded. The front 7 is going to be immaculate, to where you're going to have a defense that even if you get stopped offensively at times, you're going to have a good enough defense, especially coached by Brian Flores, that's going to be able to get you the ball back even after making a mistake, or conversely, getting you the ball right back after you just scored the possession before to give you another chance to fatten up the lead. And going back to the offensive side of the ball with the weapons at JJ McCarthy's disposal, not just the players that he's throwing to or handing the ball off to, but also the offensive line that's going to protect him. He's going to have one of the better offensive minds in the league, Kevin O'Connell, to be his ultimate support. So with Quentin Nelson, if you were able to trade for him, this would be one of the better teams in football, straight up. I think it's what they've done so far in the offseason before you even get to the draft. Are you kidding me? On paper, and I get that's a slippery slope right there. You don't want to put all your eggs in one basket. Well, you still got to play football. Everybody still has to be healthy. But on paper, I mean, this is the best team, or the team that I will say that has made the most improvements this offseason, that on paper, they're right up there with everybody. It's just about player execution, coaching, what have you. So that's why it makes sense for the Vikings, obviously. Why it makes sense for the Colts. And I try to, whenever approaching subjects like this, why the Vikings should try and trade for said player, a popular player, a really good player that will no doubt piss off the opposing fan base. I try to be as respectful as possible, but I think because of the JJ McCarthy disrespect that has been happening over the past week or so, I really just don't give a damn. And I've come to understand that no matter how respectful that I am, that the opposing fan base will always tell me, realistic Randy, you can F all the way off. So here we go. Why it makes sense for the Colts to trade away Quentin Nelson. For one, you've decimated your offensive line. Yes, you have some nice pieces that you brought in, Cam Bynum. You have some good receivers. You got Jonathan Taylor. But you're in a rebuild mode, whether it is that you like to believe it or not, simply because you don't have an answer at quarterback. And as much as there, from what I have witnessed, to be a divide between Colts Nation and Pat McAfee has been speaking the truth. Anthony Richardson so far has been a bust, and there's been nothing to suggest that he's going to turn the corner. Your team doesn't even believe that you have a quarterback. Otherwise, they would not have brought in Daniel Jones for a 1-year, $14 million deal. They brought him there to Indianapolis to hopefully be a spark plug for Anthony Richardson to figure it the hell out. And if he can't, he's going to be benched. You don't have a team right now. You have a valuable asset in Quentin Nelson who's going to be sitting there collecting dust that you're actually better off getting some sort of compensation for him. You can get a first-round pick, I would say. Would I give up if I'm the Vikings pick 24 for Quentin Nelson? Absolutely. It actually makes sense to do that instead of allowing him to lose value another year in his career, talking about trade value anyway, to collect dust, getting beat the hell up for no reason other than pride. And whether it's the Vikings or some other team, objectively speaking, it makes sense for the Colts to trade him away because you don't have a quarterback. You don't have a team. You're not going to be able to compete in the AFC South division. Not until you get an actual quarterback, and you don't have that right now with Anthony Richardson. Maybe you can get it from Daniel Jones, but I think it's safe to say that Shane Steichen is not KOC as far as what KOC was able to get from Sam Darnold and what he may have possibly been able to get out of Daniel Jones. I know Shane Steichen, what he got from Nick Foles from the Eagles in their 2017 championship run, that was more of a collective effort between Steichen and Doug Peterson before they ended up blowing it all to hell. You've got $32 million. If you're the Vikings, you need to use it. And the first call that I'm making, I am on the phone as we speak right now. If I am Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah with Chris Ballard of the Indianapolis Colts, Quentin Nelson, pick 24, maybe a little bit of sprinkles on top. What say you? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below.